Good morning, everybody. How are you, children? I hope you are fine. Today, I would like to teach the first chapter, nutrition, the food supplying system. Children, what is the meaning of nutrition? The procurement of food materials or intake of food materials or nutrients is called nutrition. What is nutrition? Intake of food, intake of chemical substances, or intake of nutrients, or procurement of nutrients is called nutrition. Children, what are nutrients? Those are the chemical substances that are required for the energy, growth, bodybuilding, and even to maintain body temperature are called nutrients. Some of the nutrients are required in large quantities, isn't it? Yes. Some of the nutrients are required in large quantities. Those nutrients are called as macronutrients. Example, carbohydrates, proteins. Similarly, some of the nutrients are required in less quantities. They are called micronutrients. Micro means very small, isn't it or not? Yes, micronutrients. All vitamins and few minerals comes under micronutrients. Children, from unicellular organisms to multicellular organisms, they require different types of food materials. And mode of acquiring of food materials is also different. Generally, there are two types of nutrition. One is autotrophic nutrition and the second one is heterotrophic nutrition. You will see here autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. Organisms which are able to synthesize their own food in their own body are called autotrophs. Such type of nutrition is called autotrophic nutrition. Organisms which are capable of synthesizing their food in their own body are called autotrophs. Such type of nutrition is called autotrophic nutrition. Children, you know that green plants, they can prepare carbohydrates, even proteins, lipids, etc. Carbohydrates acts as a fuel for all the living organisms. Is it or not? Yes. And green plants are universal food providers because they provide food for millions of the living organisms on the earth by performing an important basic life process called photosynthesis. Among all life processes such as respiration, photosynthesis, excretion, digestion, among all these life processes, the most important life process, basic life process is the photosynthesis. Why photosynthesis is the basic source of energy? Because the green plants, they are synthesizing or preparing their own food materials by utilizing the carbon dioxide, water, sunlight in the chloroplast. They are preparing the starch. Is it or not? They are not depending on others. They themselves, they are preparing their own food and supplying the food to all the living organisms on earth. Hence, they are called as producers because they are producing the food. So, either even a carnivore depends upon plants. Indirectly, they depend upon plants because carnivores feed on herbivores. Herbivores depends upon plants. So, photosynthesis is the most important life process. Universal green plants are universal food providers, as well as they provide oxygen. Without oxygen, we couldn't live. Isn't it or not? Yes. Let us discuss about the next slide. See, Von Helmont and other scientists believed that plants get the food not only from the soil, but also there are some other factors. Von Helmont is a physiologist. He's a plant physiologist. So you should know the definition of photosynthesis. What is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is a complex photochemical reaction in which carbohydrates are formed from the carbon dioxide, water in the chloroplast of green plants in the presence of sunlight. What is photosynthesis? It is a complex photochemical reaction in which carbohydrates are formed from carbon dioxide, water in the chloroplast of green plants in the presence of sunlight. In the year 1931, C.B. Von Hill has proposed an equation for the photosynthesis. Over 200 years, most of them they are trying to formulate an equation for the photosynthesis, but In the year 1931, C.B. von Neil, he is the scientist who has proposed an equation for the photosynthesis. What is the equation? He has given an equation that CO2 plus 2H2O gives rise to CH2O plus H2O plus O2. According to him, for each molecule of carbohydrate formed, one molecule of water and one molecule of oxygen is produced. But this equation does not reflect the complexity of photosynthesis. Hence, it is modified into 6CO2 plus 12H2O. You can see here, 6CO2 plus 12H2O gives rise to C6H12O6 plus 6H2O plus O2 in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Here, carbon dioxide and water are reactants. The products are glucose, water, as well as oxygen. Let us discuss about the next slide. You can see a picture here. A beautiful picture was given here. So you can see the external factors such as sunlight, carbon dioxide, both are external factors. Water, chloroplast comes under internal factors. So by utilizing the sunlight, carbon dioxide, water and minerals from the soil, green plants are producing the oxygen and they are preparing the food for the millions of the organisms. See, children? Not only they are providing the food for the millions of the living organisms, not only providing the oxygen for the millions of the living organisms on the earth, similarly they are giving numerous products. They are giving n number of products. They are giving. Is it resins, oils, latex, timber? Most of the factories they are depending upon these products, isn't it? Right. And you can see a picture here. Left side picture I have downloaded it. It is the picture of von Helmont. And then here another picture is there. Is C.B. von Neil. He is the person who proposed an equation. Just now we have discussed CO2 plus 2H2O gives rise to CH2O plus H2O plus O2. For each molecule of carbohydrate form, one molecule of water and one molecule of oxygen is produced. Similarly, C.B. von Neil, he has did experiments with the purple sulfur containing bacteria. So while doing research on the purple sulfur containing bacteria, this bacteria it is utilizing the H2S and the bacteria has produced sulfur. Bacteria has utilized the hydrogen sulfide and produced the sulfur. Same process took place in the green plants. C.B. von Neil envisioned that green plants utilize water and produces oxygen. This statement was given by C.B. von Neil. Later, another great biologist called Robert Hill, he has given a statement that oxygen is produced by splitting the water molecule. Here it is there, which is known as photolysis. Here the chlorophyll molecules which are present within the chloroplast, the chlorophyll molecules, they absorb the quantum or the solar energy. Generally, light is a form of energy that contains small particles. Those small particles are called photons. Photons carry energy called quantum. Chlorophyll molecules absorb the solar energy. And some electrons were loosed in the chlorophyll molecule and gets oxidized. Loss of electrons is called oxidation. Oxidized chlorophyll molecule or light activated chlorophyll molecule splits the water molecule into protons, electrons as well as oxygen. So oxygen is released as a waste gas by a process called photosynthesis. Let us discuss about the next slide. That is presence of starch in this. Most important experiment. This is very easy. See, just by seeing the diagram, we can say that what is the aim actually? What is the aim here? Whether the green plants are preparing the starch or not. The aim is to prove that green plants contains starch. Okay. So apparatus, materials required. What are required? Beaker, yes. Water, boiling test tube, thin leaf which is exposed to sunlight. You can see here methylated spirit, asbestos gas that does not catches the fire. Similarly, a Bunsen burner. Here we need one more petri dish. We need iodine solution. We need a dropper, isn't it? Yes. So here what I would like to say is that as children, let us discuss about the first activity which was given in our textbook. What is the activity? Presence of starch in leaves. So generally for an activity or experiment, few steps are required. What are those? Aim, apparatus or materials required, procedure, observation, inference, and the last one is result, isn't it? Yes. So what is the aim here? To prove that green plants contain starch, or to prove that green leaves contain starch. What are the materials required for this experiment? See here, we need a beaker, we need a test tube, we need a thin leaf which was exposed to sunlight, and we need water, methylated spirit, asbestos gauge which does not catches the fire, a tripod stand, and a Bunsen burner, iodine solution, a petri dish, a dropper, as well as the leaf, isn't it? Yeah. Right, children. What is the procedure? Take a beaker, fill the beaker with the water. Take a boiling test tube and fill half of the test tube with the methylated spirit. And then take a soft thin leaf which is exposed to sunlight. Now carefully insert the soft thin leaf into the test tube that is containing the methylated spirit, that contains the methylated spirit. Okay. So just heat the methylated spirit over the water bath. What happens? The heat of the methylated spirit over the water bath removes the chlorophyll molecules from the leaf. So when the chlorophyll molecules, which makes the green plants, which makes the plant in green color, that appears as a green color due to the presence of chlorophyll molecules, when these chlorophyll molecules were removed from the leaf, what happens? It turns into pale white color, isn't it? Carefully, with the help of a pointed brush, you are supposed to remove this leaf and you have to spread the leaf in a petri dish. This is a petri dish. And add few drops of iodine solution, tincture iodine solution, or you can utilize instead of, if you don't have iodine, you can use this betaine solution also. So what happens? The pale white color leaf turns into bluish black color or blue black color, that indicates the presence of starch. Observation, what will you write? The pale white color leaf turns into blue black color. So result, what will you write? Hence we have proved that green plants contains starch. Let us discuss about the next slide. Yes, let us discuss about water and photosynthesis. Children, Von Helmont has given a statement that water plays a very important role in increase of plant mass. In 7th class textbook, it was given, an activity was given in which the plant mass, increase of plant mass is due to intake of water. But actually, increase of plant mass, plant weight is due to photosynthesis. As the green plants perform photosynthesis, the plant mass gets increased. Let us discuss about the next one, that is air and photosynthesis. So here two pictures were there. One is Joseph Priestley, another one is Lavoisier. Here is the Lavoisier and this is the Joseph Priestley. Joseph Priestley conducted a series of experiments in the year 1770. In the year 1774, he has discovered oxygen. The name oxygen was coined by another biologist. He was known as Lavoisier. Priestley discovered the oxygen. The name oxygen was coined by Lavoisier. Priestley conducted a bell jar experiment. Here, he has kept a burning candle in a closed space of a bell jar. When he has placed a burning candle in a closed space of bell jar, immediately the candle has been extinguished. Extinguished means put off. when he has placed a mouse inside a closed space of a bell jar. You can see here, bell jar. The mouse has been suffocated. Suffocated means unable to respire. The burning candle has been put off and the mouse has been suffocated in a closed space of bell jar. By this, he came to know that both of them are damaging the air within the closed space of bell jar. Later, he has placed a mint plant and he has placed a burning candle, a mouse inside a closed space of a bell jar. The candle is burning continuously. The mouse is alive. That means plants restore the air what the burning candle and the animals remove. That means exchange of gases is going on. Here, mouse undergoes respiration and produces carbon dioxide. That carbon dioxide is utilized by this mint plant and producing the oxygen. That oxygen is useful for the burning of the candle as well as for the survival of the animal. So, exchange of gases takes place. Exchange of gases takes place in the plants through the thin soft tissues, stomata, lenticels, as well as from the roots. Exchange of gases takes place. So here Lavoisier has coined the term oxygen. Oxygen was discovered by Joseph Priestley. In examination, they may give this experiment. They may give this diagram and they may ask few questions you are supposed to write in the examination. Let us discuss about the next slide. Here, the next slide is demonstrates about the carbon dioxide. Whether the carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis or not. Children, in the atmosphere, 0.03% of carbon dioxide is present. You know that carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. Isn't it or not? Yes. Children, this carbon dioxide is utilized by the green plants for the formation of carbohydrate. Carbon dioxide is reduced to carbohydrate. So in this experiment, what is the aim? To prove that carbon dioxide is necessary for photosynthesis. What are the materials required? You can see here a well-potted plant with a long, narrow leaf, and we need a wide-mouthed bottle. We need a potassium hydroxide, KOH potassium hydroxide solution, or potassium hydroxide pellets. A vertical split cork is required. Similarly, we need iodine solution to test the presence or absence of starch. Right. Let us discuss about the procedure. So you have to take a well-potted, healthy plant with a long, narrow leaves, and you have to keep it in a dark room for 7 days or a week to remove the starch. Why we are supposed to keep in a dark room for 7 days? See, children, plants utilize the starch already that is formed within the leaves. So when the plant utilizes the starch, then we can call that plant as a destarched plant, as the starch is utilized. On the day of experiment, take a wide-mouthed bottle, fill the bottle with 5 to 10 ml of KOH solution, then insert a vertical split cork. Through the vertical split cork, you have to insert a long, thin, narrow, destarched leaf. Then keep the entire apparatus under the sunlight for few hours. After few hours, detach the leaf from the plant and remove the leaf carefully from the wide-mouthed bottle, and then add few drops of iodine solution on the leaf. What happens to them? The leaf which is present outside the bottle turns into bluish black. The leaf which is present inside the bottle does not turn into bluish black. Why? The leaf which is present outside the bottle is provided with the sunlight, carbon dioxide, chlorophyll, water, all necessary requirements for the formation of starch. Whereas the leaf which is present inside the bottle is provided with water, chlorophyll, everything, but the carbon dioxide that is present within this bottle is absorbed by the KOH solution. The observation is the leaf which is present outside the bottle turns into bluish black. The leaf which is present inside the bottle remains same color. Right, children. Here in this diagram, it was given. See here, blue black was given. Here it is wrong. Actually, here it is colorless. The lower portion of the leaf is colorless and the upper portion of the leaf is bluish black. Okay. Let us discuss about the light and photosynthesis. Children, light is a form of energy. Light contains particles called photons. Photons carry energy called quantum. And during respiration process, what happens? The glucose molecules were broken down by utilizing the oxygen to produce carbon dioxide, water and energy. In respiration process, energy is released. What about photosynthesis? In photosynthesis, oxygen is released. For the formation of oxygen, energy is required or not? Definitely energy is required. From where does this energy comes from? Energy comes from the light. Let us discuss about the next slide. Here there is a picture. Here is a picture of John Ingenhousz. He is a Dutch scientist. He has noticed that in the year 1779, he noticed that green plants produce oxygen only in the presence of sunlight. Only in the presence of sun. He has conducted an experiment which is known as hydrilla funnel experiment, or it is known as John Ingenhousz experiment. So, what is the aim? To prove that green plants produce oxygen only in the presence of sunlight. So, you have to make two identical sets, which was shown in the figure. You can see here. We need two identical sets. And what is the aim? To prove that green plants produce oxygen in the presence of sunlight. What are the materials required? What are the materials required? A test tube, a short-stemmed funnel, might have seen funnel, and aquatic plants such as hydrilla or elodea. And we need water. We need a mastic. And what is the procedure here? Let us discuss about the procedure. Yes. So you have to take a short-stemmed funnel, and you have to place the elodea twigs or hydrilla twigs into the short-stemmed funnel. Then you have to keep this short-stemmed funnel into the beaker containing water. Then you have to take a test tube which was filled with the water and invert the test tube on the short-stemmed funnel. Keep the entire apparatus under the sunlight for a few hours. After a few hours, you can notice bubbles are produced from these hydrilla twigs. And we don't know whether the bubbles are related to oxygen or they are hydrogen bubbles or carbon dioxide bubbles. So children, when these bubbles are formed, carefully you have to remove the test tube from the short-stemmed funnel or from the beaker by inserting the thumb on the mouth of the test tube. Then you have to place a burning mastic. When you place a burning mastic on the mouth of the test tube and when you remove the thumb, what happens? The burning mastic glows vigorously. See that carefully you have to remove the test tube because there is a chance of escape of these bubbles. So when you remove the thumb and when you insert a burning mastic near the mouth of the test tube, the burning mastic or incense stick glows vigorously. That indicates the escaped bubbles are that of oxygen. Whereas these apparatus which was kept in the dark room, bubbles are not formed. Similarly, another scientist called Engelmann, you can see here, I have written here, Engelmann. Engelmann, he has detected the maximum point of photosynthesis. He has cultured oxygen sensitive bacteria or photosynthetic bacteria. When he has illuminated the visible spectrum, with GR, all the bacteria were crowded near the blue rays as well as red rays. This bacteria performs photosynthesis. These bacteria were crowded near the blue rays and red rays, that indicates maximum point of photosynthesis takes place near blue rays as well as red rays. And the rate of photosynthesis is 0 near the green rays because they contain thylakoids. The bacteria contain thylakoids which are green in color, so they reflect the green color. I hope you have understood the hydrilla funnel experiment, which is the most important experiment. Let us discuss about the next slide. That is, sunlight is necessary to form starch in green plants. Yes, children. But how do you prove that light is necessary for the formation of starch? So for this experiment, the question may be asked like this: how do you prove that sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis, or demonstrate about black paper experiment? Children, for this we need a well-potted plant. with a broad leaves. In Mohs-Hartley experiment, we have to well-potted plant with long, narrow leaves. In this experiment, we are supposed to take a plant with a broad leaves. Okay, you have to keep same. You have to keep in a dark room for 7 days for destarchation purpose. And then after when the starch has been utilized in the plant, now it is called as destarched plant. On the day of experiment, you have to select a leaf and you have to attach a black paper with a cut design. You can see a shaped cut design is seen, and attach this paper to the broad leaf with the help of clips, and keep it the entire apparatus under the sunlight for few hours. After few hours, it has the leaf and test for the presence of starch with the help of a solution called iodine solution. When you add few drops of iodine solution on the leaf, the part of the leaf which receives the maximum amount of sunlight turns into bluish black. The cut design has been turned into bluish black. You can see here upper portion and lower portion of the leaf turns into bluish black, but the portion of the leaf that does not receiving the sunlight does not turns into bluish black. That indicates the absence of starch. Hence, sunlight is necessary for photosynthesis. Let us discuss about the next slide. Children, John Ingenhousz has proposed that green plants produce oxygen in the presence of sunlight. He has given one more statement that all the green parts of the plants perform photosynthesis. But John Ingenhousz, he doesn't know what are the structures or what substances are present in the green parts of the plant. In the year 1817, Pelletier and Cavendish, here you can see Pelletier and Cavendish, both of them, they have extracted a green colored substance from the green colored parts of the plant, and they call the green colored substance as chlorophyll. They have extracted the chlorophyll in the year 1817, but they don't know the exact location of the chlorophyll in the green parts of the plant. In the year 1883, Julius Wonsack, here is a picture, you can see, there is a picture, Julius Wonsack. In the year 1883, he has given a statement that chlorophyll molecule is not spread the entire the plant cell. Instead of that, chlorophyll molecules are present in a cell organelle called chloroplast. Chlorophyll molecules are not spread entire the plant cell. Instead of that, chlorophyll molecules are present within a cell organelle called chloroplast. This statement was given by a great biologist, botanist, who was known as Julius Wonsack. He is the founder of experimental plant physiology, and more number of chloroplasts are present in the mesophyll tissue as well as in the stomatal guard cells. Nearly 4,200 chloroplasts are present. So, when chloroplast is a cell organelle, chlorophyll molecules are the pigments which are present in the cell organelle called chloroplast. And there is a transfer section of leaf was given in our textbook. Here you can draw this diagram easily. This is a upper layer is cuticle, and then upper epidermis, palisade, parenchyma is first layer, which are arranged in regular rows and contains more amount of chloroplast. That's why upper surface of the leaves are more green in color when compared to the lower surface of the leaf. The lower surface of the leaf contains this spongy parenchyma, which are arranged in irregular rows and contains very less amount of chloroplast and contains air spaces. Palisade parenchyma, they are arranged very closely, compactly, whereas spongy parenchyma, they are arranged in irregular rows and contains more air spaces. And lower epidermis, you can see a lower cuticle, and lower epidermis is interrupted by stomata. And you can see a vascular bundle that contains xylem as well as phloem. Xylem carries water and minerals, and phloem carries the food materials. Let us discuss about the next slide. That is about the chloroplast. Children, Daniel Arnon in the year 1954, he has carefully isolated the chloroplast from the plant cell. If you try to isolate a chloroplast from the plant cell, no doubt the plant cell gets broken down. At the same time, the structure of the chloroplast also destroys. See how Daniel Arnon carefully has isolated the chloroplast from the plant cell. Intact structure of the chloroplast he has carefully isolated. Let us discuss about the structure of the chloroplast. Children, chloroplast, it is a discoid shape with a oval outline. You can see discoid shape with oval outline. Chloroplast contains two membranes, outer membrane and inner membrane. In between these two membranes, there is a space which is known as periplastidial space. Right, children? The third membrane forms the stacked sac-like structure called granum. This is the granum. Third membrane forms the stacked sac-like structure called granum. Children, plural is grana. Plural is grana. This is 2 or 3 together called as grana. Singular is granum. Children, each granum acts as a light harvesting complex due to the presence of 250 to 400 pigment molecules together form a light harvesting complex or photosynthetic unit. Children, inside the chloroplast there is a colorless fluid called stroma. Stroma contains some photosynthetic enzymes, proteins, and even lipid globules are present. You can see a loop of DNA is present. Starch globules are present, and these grana are connected by stroma lamellae. These are stroma lamellae. Stroma lamellae is connecting one granum, another granum is connected by stroma lamellae, or which is also called as fret membranes or stroma lamellae. And these are grana thylakoids and these are stroma thylakoids. Because thylakoids are present in the stroma, these are stroma thylakoids and these are grana thylakoids, in which the light reaction takes place. In the stroma, the dark reaction takes place. Similarly, there are photosynthetic pigments in the chloroplast. What are photosynthetic pigments? Pigments that trap the solar energy are called the photosynthetic pigments. Chlorophyll A, which is blue-green in color, whereas the chlorophyll B is yellow-green in color. Like that, different types of chlorophyll molecules are present, like chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, C, D, E, like that. Chlorophyll molecules are there. In our test tube, it was given chlorophyll A is blue-green in color, whereas chlorophyll B is yellow-green in color. So then, these chlorophyll molecules that trap the solar energy. Similarly, there are accessory photosynthetic pigments such as xanthophylls, carotenoids. These xanthophylls, phycobilins, carotenoids, they absorb the solar energy and transfer the solar energy to chlorophyll A and B molecules. Hence, they are known as accessory pigments. They help in trapping the solar energy and help in passing the solar energy to chlorophyll A and B, which are known as primary photosynthetic pigments, and some ribosomes are also present within this cell organ. Similarly, central atom is present in the chlorophyll molecule, which is magnesium. Magnesium is the central atom that is present in the chlorophyll molecule, and some functions were given in this slide. See, what are the functions in the examination? They may ask, what are the functions of chloroplast? That is conversion of light energy into chemical energy, splitting of water molecule, reducing the carbon dioxide into carbohydrate. These are the three functions of chloroplast. Let us discuss about the next slide. That is mechanism of photosynthesis. Children, there are two types of reactions that takes place in the chloroplast. One is light independent reaction. Second one is light dependent reaction. Children, light dependent reaction is also called as photochemical phase. It is also known as energy capturing reactions. Light reaction depends upon the light. No doubt in that. Light reaction takes place in the granum. It depends upon light. This reaction takes place only in the presence of sunlight. But where does it take place? It takes place in the grana thylakoids. Just now I told grana thylakoids. All thylakoids are piled up to form granum. In the grana of chloroplast, the light reaction takes place. It is a light dependent reaction. It has to depend upon the light. Without light, light reaction does not take place. What is the first step? The chlorophyll molecule gets oxidized by losing the electrons. The chlorophyll molecules absorbs the photons that carries quantum and loses electrons. So this oxidized chlorophyll molecule or light activated chlorophyll molecule splits the water molecule. You can see here, splits the water molecule into H plus ions and OH minus ions, which is known as photolysis or Fields reaction. In examination, they may ask what is photolysis. Photolysis means light activated chlorophyll molecule splits the water molecule into H plus and OH minus ions, called photolysis or Fields reaction. These OH minus ions undergoes a series of reactions and produces water molecule and oxygen. As oxygen is the best gas, excretory gas from the green plants, it escapes into the atmosphere through stomata lenticels, whereas the water is utilized within the plant. H plus ions are utilized in the dark reaction. At the end of light reaction, ADP and NADPH are formed, which are called assimilatory powers. Why they are called as, why ADP and NADPH are called assimilatory powers? because they are utilized in the dark reaction as carbon dioxide is reduced to carbohydrate. Let us discuss about the next slide, that is light independent reaction. Light independent reaction means the reaction that does not depend upon the light. It may take place even in the presence or absence of light, which is also known as dark reaction or biosynthetic phase. Children, here the H plus ions which are produced in photolysis is immediately picked by an electron acceptor, that is called NADP plus, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate. So NADP plus H plus forms what? Together form NADPH. The hydrogen that is present in nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate, the hydrogen combines with the carbon dioxide to form a carbohydrate. What is a carbohydrate? Carbohydrate is a compound that consisting of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. So carbon dioxide is present, isn't it or not? So hydrogen should get combined with the carbon dioxide to form a carbohydrate, but it is not a simple process. N number of intermediary products like glucose 1,bis-phosphate, n number of molecules are formed in the dark reaction. At last, glucose molecules are formed. All glucose molecules join together to form starch. And photosynthesis is affected by temperature, carbon dioxide, and even more amount of water, all this. But photosynthesis is not affected by the humidity. And one more slide is there where this is the chloroplast. The light is penetrating into the branum that contains 250 to 400 photosynthetic pigments, and water is split into oxygen. Light activated chlorophyll molecules is splitting the water into oxygen, and ATP, NADPH are produced, and these ATP and NADPH are utilized in the Kelvin cycle, which is also known as dark reaction or light independent reaction or biosynthetic phase, where the carbon dioxide is reduced to carbohydrate by utilizing the hydrogen present in the NADPH. Children, in the next video, I would like to explain few question answers. Thank you for giving this opportunity.